Hello everyone and welcome to Virtual Creations YouTube channel, a channel where I show you my unedited experiences with unusual building technologies and energy efficient ideas. Good morning everybody. So my apologies that I haven't posted a video in a very long time. It's not for the fact that I haven't been doing stuff. I actually did a whole bunch of stuff and I need to finish the videos and post them, but there's at least 4 or 5 things, which leads to this first video, this upload. So going back a number of years when I did all of the upgrades, one of the things I knew I wanted to do was some kind of solar hot water heating, and I didn't do it at the time. But once I started, or once I'd finished all those other things and then started looking into getting something, I realized in Southern Ontario anyways, you couldn't get them. I even phoned a couple places, and so what I'm talking about is the glycol systems, right, where you would have a tank in the basement, evacuated tubes up on the roof. And what I discovered is that PV solar panels, like the ones behind me, have gotten so cheap that it doesn't make sense to heat water with a glycol system, that everyone is switching over to just electric, for example, hot water tanks and more PVs. And that was interesting, and obviously with a microfit I could kind of keep doing that or just add more, which is a separate thing. But I came across something really cool that I wanted to try. And so basically it's an off-grid 4 solar panels tied to an inverter that is then producing AC power and heating a electric hot water tank. Now online there are a couple guys that are skipping the inverter component and going directly PV panel, which is DC, to a DC element inside a hot water tank. It was a little bit beyond me as far as understanding the electricity, the load, the shut off, the thermostat. There was a little bit going on there. If you guys search the internet, you can kind of find that, and that would be even cheaper than doing what I did. But it was, you know, a little bit beyond me. So let me show you what I did, and hopefully I can get around to posting all the other videos too. Okay. Work in progress at this point. We have the 4 panels up on the roof. They're LG 330 watt. We have them sort of together in the rack. The rack is complete, which is just a really simple angle iron creating a triangle. They are temporarily ballasted because I have a flat roof membrane and I don't pierce it, but these are just temporary. I have to get the proper weight and the proper concrete up here to, and brackets to hold it down. And then we have I love that it's gold, actually. now that you see it up here, you know, they could have gone with something a little less flamboyant, but yeah, the Cyboinverter, which is going to convert these 4 panels DC into AC and power my electric hot water tank in the basement as a preheater. So we got that mounted. Basically next I'm going to start working on the sort of AC side of the power. So I'm going to start doing like a junction box over here and then conduit across the roof and start to bring the power down inside to the basement. But other than so far nothing, you know, we're just getting things prepped, getting things ready. And so far, other than the weight of some of this stuff, these panels are getting a lot heavier than what they used to be, and the Cyboinverter is quite chunky too. There hasn't really been any issues, and yeah, so far instructions, manuals, you know, all that kind of stuff is pretty straightforward. So I don't think that this is going to be much more difficult. I will let you know as I progress along. A few more things. It isn't far too hot to be up here, but another progress video. Okay, so panels are all done. Racking is all done. They have been ballasted with the correct amount of weight. I don't have the wind guards on them yet because they're going to do an inspection on the wiring. I got the inverter all set up. I have the ground all done, and I've basically finished the PVC stuff. So that's my junction box. I have to change this to a disconnect switch, and then basically the PVC runs along the roof. I got to put another block over here, and we have another junction box before we basically go inside the house. So this, see, is just about done, and the rest is all inside work. How about an update? Yeah, so got the wire down into the basement, got it to a box. I got to put a receptacle obviously here, but it's going to be the kind with a switch on it as well, just in case I wanted to isolate the power. And then we got the hot water tank in here, so you can kind of see, you know, I obviously would have gone a lot bigger, but this is underneath the staircase, so I was kind of limited to some height. So this is a 20-gallon ream, and it is a 120 1500 watt element on it, so it'll be pretty slow to heat that 120 gallons, but sorry, the 20 gallons, but that's okay, because the idea is that all day long the sun is going to hit the panels, get this thing up to a certain temperature, and then you know, one of two things is either you know, we use up that hot water in the evening, or it stays relatively hot in the tank until the next morning when we typically take our first shower. So got to finish up on the electrical, got to run my ground, and then the last step would be plumbing, and the plumbing is kind of dark in there, but it's basically just around the other side here type thing. So we should be done pretty soon. So internet types. Okay, so another sort of milestone, whatever you want to call it. Got the plumbing hooked up. Plumbing was pretty complicated because I got a lot going on here. So we have obviously the tank, and we have the water coming in and out. And if I just for context show you what's going on over here, we have the very old manifold system I put in, the tankless hot water heater from Stiebel that I put in, I think it must have been 12 or 15 years ago. And we have the power pipe, that's a brand name, but I think it goes by drain water heat recovery device. So it was a little bit convoluted, because basically this is the incoming water line. It goes down to the bottom of the power pipe. It pre-warms, and it comes out the top over here, and then this is when we had to divert from this is the cold water valve as well as the hot water tank, and then heats the hot water, and then the hot water comes down here like a roller coaster and into the Stiebel unit, and then basically goes up and into the old manifold. So yeah, a little, you know, kind of crazy the way it zigzags around in here, but that's part of, you know, it being an old house, and we've, you know, added, you know, things here and there. But I guess the point of this whole thing is that it is hooked up. It is actually hot. This little guy, you should be able to see it, but there's a tiny little light on the receptacle, and it's off, which means that either the hot water tank is not asking for hot water, or that the solar panels aren't producing any electricity. It is still enough sun out there that it should, so I'm gonna basically believe that what's going on is that no one's, the tank is heated up and it's not calling for power. So next thing is I'm gonna turn off the Stiebel, and I'm gonna run the faucet and see whether or not the water's hot or not. We're gonna try something. We're gonna turn on a faucet, and I see that the hot water tank is set to 140. Oh no, it did. So the Stiebel, when it's calling for hot water, you'll see that. So I'm gonna actually turn that off. And now we want to see, whoa, what's going on in this pipe down here, sorry. Oh yeah, that is very, 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 very hot. So it's kind of interesting. I guess maybe this only says the flow. If I said it 30, no. I'm experimenting here. Okay, so probably it came on for a split second because the water in the pipe was still cold. So that first, a little bit of water went in there and caused the Stiebel to basically kick on and try and heat the water. But now that the water from the tank is making its way through here, it's not on. You don't see the light is not on right there. And we're doing effectively what we wanted, which is primarily use hot water for free from the Cybo inverter, and only use the Electra or the Stiebel going forward as a backup. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, it's really early. Voice is a little scratchy. This is the first time I wanted to do this or could do this video where I know that the water in the tank was hot enough the day before, and whether or not it could hold the water hot until the next morning when someone takes a shower. And based upon the fact that the light on the Stiebel is not on, it means that the water in the tank is still hotter than 40 degrees. And we're not having to use electricity in the Stiebel. We're still using the water stored, or the hot waters created by the photovoltaics and stored inside this tank. And that's actually the ideal situation for us, because most of the time we take showers in the morning. We use most of the hot water in the morning. So we want to make sure, we wanted to create a scenario where the tank could at least give us one, possibly two hot showers for free in the morning. But everything seems to be working as intended. The tank is pretty hot when the sun goes down, stays hot in the morning, and ultimately we did this to see if we could reduce our electrical load, especially on this thing, because obviously it uses the most amount of electricity out of any of our appliances in the house. So everything working as intended. Pretty cool. Here we are, the end of this video and this process, and it started up on the roof, and I guess it will end on the roof. So I just have to finish the shields. I, for some bizarre reason, measured wrong and ended up with the wrong size. But we got the 4 panels. They're all connected, and of course the star of this show is the Cyboinverter, which basically converts and manages and does all the fancy magic that electrical stuff. And what I can tell you is that it works brilliantly. And I know, like, in some of the videos I was kind of like, I don't want to say skeptical, but I had some questions. So let me clear up a few things. One is that you can absolutely get 100% of your hot water this way. You normally would in a tank, you would have the two, and you would have like the two heating elements, and the second element would be your backup, because obviously, you know, there could be cloudy days or so on. My issue is that I could only fit a 20 gallon. So obviously, if I could get like an 60, 80, even 120, I would do 120. Because basically the solar panels, the inverter will spend all day, you know, getting all of that up, and you'll be able to go overnight, like, you know, the evening, overnight, and then even into the morning with that amount of hot water, right? 20 gallons, you know, you're only going to get a couple of showers at peak temperature. But that's only because of my specific circumstance. I figure roughly the recovery time, if you want to call it that, or basically going from cold water to 120, is somewhere about an hour and a half. So again, 20 gallons, very small. So it's able to, all I need is an hour and a half of sunlight, and I get 120 degree, 140, sorry, 140 degree temperature water. And yeah, we've had it for about a week now, and it's pretty cool. We definitely been paying attention as to when we get essentially free hot water, and when we don't. It seems to work well with our lifestyle as far as you know, when we use most of the hot water and how much hot water we use. We use very, very little water, so that's another bonus or balance on the 20 gallon. And the final thing is I'll do a follow-up video at some point after some time showing the electrical savings. So I roughly estimated, based upon this past week, that we could be looking at saving $60 a month, which is really nice. It pushes the rate of return on the whole thing down low. But the total energy consumption is a little bit wonky because it's September here in Ontario right now, and my pool heater, which is a heat pump, which is possibly another video, it's starting to run more often. So we haven't seen the total kilowatt hours drop very much, but that's not because we aren't saving money here with the Cyboinverter. It's because the pool pump or pool heater is running more often than it did, let's say, in July or August. But I'll see if I can't figure out some way to you know, measure that. So all in all, very happy. It's successful, and yeah, would highly recommend you guys check out the Cyboinverter and their website, because they have a bunch of different units, including a Cyboinverter that could, I believe, run a pool heat pump, which is interesting. Yeah, and hopefully you guys like the video, and hopefully I get around to making, there's at least, you know, 4 or 5 other things that I've done since the last video that that was posted probably a while ago, years ago, and I got to get around to making those videos for you guys, because we've been doing some pretty interesting things. Thanks, guys. Okay, one more thing. So yes, the editing is a little bit rough in this video. I'm a little out of practice. The next video will be better, I promise. And I can't believe I haven't felt the need to put this type of disclaimer in my videos up until now. But yeah, these videos are meant to be inspirational, not instructional, not step-by-step DIY type projects. You need to do your own research. You need to hire professionals or educate yourself so that you know what you're doing. Apply for, you know, the appropriate permits, like building permits and electrical permits, and make sure that your project is executed safely and successfully. Don't necessarily rely on everything that you see in this video, because maybe I did something wrong that I don't know about yet. And obviously every region of the country or the world is different, so they all have different rules about, especially with electricity or wind, and putting things up on top of your roof, what may or may not be required. So do your own research, do a good job, and have success.